Welcome to our channel. We're the Montana Family Homestead. I'm so glad you're here. This week is a plethora of things.
Hey, good morning. It is a Monday morning. Right now, it's not even 6 o'clock and I'm baking some cookies. These are green tomato mince cookies. I'm baking some cookies so I have something sweet to send with the boys' school lunches today.
In this week's video, I'm so excited to take you along with me as I share snippets of my life. The last while, we've been flooded with eggs, so this week, I'm making delicious egg noodles.
Well, it's already in the afternoon. This morning went by so fast, I had to run into town and take care of a few things. Jordan broke his glasses, so I stopped at his eye doctor and got a replacement for that and just did a few errands in town, and I'm getting supper over for tonight. And then, look at all these eggs. I have a lot more than these. I'm hoping to make some noodles this afternoon. What I'm drinking here is called wassail. It comes out of the Trim Healthy Mama cookbook. This stuff is really good. Cranberries can be a little tart, but I like tartness. I like tart and sweet. So the tartness doesn't bother me. I add some gentle sweet to this, and it's really good. And it's not just good, it's very healthy for you. I've been fighting a sore throat, so this is very delicious, and it's good for you. Cranberry wassail, and you can find it in one of the Trim Healthy Mama cookbooks. So I want to show you, this is the cookbook. Can find how to make the cranberry wassail. Anyway, before I start on my noodles this afternoon, I want to get supper over, and we have a lot of these spaghetti squash that are still from our garden, and I want to get these used up. I don't want to let them go bad. Even though spaghetti squash, they last a long time.
Buttered and seasoned spaghetti squash is absolutely delicious. To complement it, I'll be serving a side of fried hamburgers. My boys prefer the hamburgers simply seasoned, and they love it that way.
So I'm making a cake with this zucchini. Now, if you plant zucchini and some squash, different kinds of squash together, sometimes they interpollinate. So this zucchini was planted close to my spaghetti squash. It's slightly stringy like a spaghetti squash, and it's harder. So it's almost impossible to peel, but I'm still going to use it for my cake.
The next thing I'm making for supper is a Trim Healthy Mama Trimtastic cake, zucchini cake. And as you can see, this zucchini must have cross-pollinated with my spaghetti squash because it was hard. And it's quite comical watching my video playback. At the time, it would cause a lot of frustration. Our garden isn't very big, and we make an effort to plant our different types of squash separately in various areas, yet somehow they still cross-pollinate regardless. I'm still gonna shred this thing up and make a cake out of it, even if it makes me work extra hard.
I'm making is in the Trim Healthy Mama cookbook. I've made it before. It's really good, and that's what we're having for supper. And after I get the cake in the oven, I'm going to be working on my noodles. Cake I'm making is called, if I can find it. The cake I want to make is the Trimtastic chocolate zucchini cake. I will have a link to this cookbook in the description if you're interested. I got my Trimtastic cake in the oven. Now I want to make some egg noodles. This is my KitchenAid. Marvin got this KitchenAid for me probably almost 8 years ago. 8 or 9 years ago. It's been a while, and it's served me well. Sometimes it doesn't want to turn on very well, but then I just have to remember it's well used. So right now I'll be separating the yolk from the egg whites. I am about ready to start on my noodles, but before I do, I thought I'd show you my snack. This is plain yogurt, so let's try it.
Now that I have my cake in the oven, I started on the noodles. It's surprisingly simple to make homemade egg noodles, and there are probably many variations out there. While some recipes use the whole egg, I'm using just the yolks for this one. This recipe only requires 4 ingredients: egg yolks, flour, water, and salt. The toughest part is mixing everything together, as it takes some muscle power.
This is Monday. We have a lot of eggs, so I made some deviled eggs here. And this is Trim Healthy Mama Trim-tastic cake. We have spaghetti squash and meat to go with it. We're about ready to sit down and enjoy our meal tonight. It's Monday night, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
It's getting late and it's supper time, and I'm happy to share that my THM zucchini cake turned out amazing. It's moist and chocolatey, just the way I like it. I also made some deviled eggs, which the boys absolutely loved, and paired everything with my buttered spaghetti squash and a side of hamburger. Everything was delicious.
It's been a lot of years since I've done this. Mom used to sell baked goods. The Amish ladies used to have bake sales for school benefits. And I remember this one non-Amish lady asked my mom one day what all ingredients she puts in her noodles. And she said, oh, it's just eggs and meal. Meal, which is flour. We thought that was pretty funny. Eggs and meal. Well, I messed up that one. So for those of you that don't know, meal is flour in the Pennsylvania Dutch. It just wants to catch. Not working. I gotta get all this stuff off because the next time it'll catch and it'll not go through. Third time's a charm.
We have 5 more.
It is at first. Pretty sure we used to roll it out with a pie roller. This is something that we used to have at home all the time. Every table in the house was spread out with noodles in the drying process. And they get longer and longer. That takes the stickiness away, and then when it's correct, you make them thinner and thinner and thinner. Things will be like really long, and then you cut them in here.
Don't you cut them twice?
No, just once. Longer round shape. And then they just go through.
Good morning. It's the next day. The boys are off to school. Jerome is at work and Marvin is at home here in the shop doing something. But anyway, these are my noodles I made yesterday. Marvin and I worked on them last night. This morning, I want to finish them. Get noodles made, spread out on the table because they're going to need a day or two to dry. What I am going to do with these noodles right here, get some gloves on, like my hands all messy. And then I'm going to just put them in tiny little bowls, drench them in flour, and then put them through my noodle maker. If you'll have a lot of eggs, making noodles is not hard. It's easy. It's a little bit time consuming, but homemade noodles are so delicious and so good. Get my bowl here and put some flour in this bowl. This dough is slightly more sticky than what it should be, so I'm going to make sure to dust it with flour very well. So what I'm doing, guys, is I'm just going to make tiny little balls like this. And wrap it in flour like that. Make sure it's got a lot of flour on it, because if it doesn't have flour on it, it tends to stick when it goes through the noodle maker. And I don't want that. Put it there. Now I don't want these balls too big. Just kind of like that. Want to make sure they're well covered in flour. I'll make sure to have the recipe in the description, so go check it out if you have a lot of eggs. Making noodles is great. And if you don't have a noodle maker, you can just use a pizza cutter or a knife. I think I'll need just a little bit more flour. I gotta hurry. This afternoon I have a dentist appointment, so I'm trying to hurry and get most of this done before it's time for my appointment. This ball may be just a little big. Making noodles can be quite time consuming. It can get messy, sticky, and dusty. After the noodles are made, it typically takes a couple of days for them to fully dry. But once everything is complete, you end up with delicious homemade noodles. So I'm about ready to put these noodles through my noodle maker. And how I do this is I set the noodle maker to the highest setting. And after that, after all of them are put through, I put them through again in a smaller setting. So this noodle maker has a few settings. You can make it thicker or thinner, however you like. For right now, we're going to start with a thicker setting. I've been working on the noodles a lot today. And can anyone guess what we're having for supper tonight? If you guess chicken noodle soup, yay, you won. And the chicken I'm using is from our very own chickens. This past summer, we raised some meat birds, and this is chicken that I canned. Homemade noodles, right here. Can't get better than that. Noodle soup is almost done. What I'm going to add to this soup is a thickening paste. My mom used to make chicken noodle gravy. To make it thick, she would add a little bit of cornstarch, a little water, and an egg, and it just thickened it just a little bit. Sometimes I like my chicken noodle soup just a little bit thick. Almost not quite gravy consistency, but just creamy and thick. Hey guys, it is the next day. These are the noodles Marvin and I got done yesterday. I just have them here sitting, drying. They're gonna need a couple of days to completely dry. It's almost time to go pick up the boys from school, but before I do, I wanna make the pizza crust and get that all ready so that when I come home, I can just put it in the oven. We'll be eating pizza for supper. Most of the day I spent in the office. It is the end of the year. It is tax season, and that's what I'm working on right now. As we wrap up the video, it's pizza night for supper. I'm adding a generous amount of sautéed diced onions and mushrooms as toppings. We still have lots of onions left over from last year's garden, and some of my kids aren't too fond of them, but I'm determined to use them up. So I like to hide diced onions among the other ingredients like mushrooms. It seems as long as no one can see the onions, nobody minds, and everyone enjoys my pizza, even with all those onions on top. We're about ready to eat. Here's our pizza. Turned out great. Thank you for watching the Montana Family Homestead. If you like this content, please consider giving us a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. We love hearing from you. Goodbye till next time.